Good morning. I'm Kristen Powell. Welcome to our Unity of Walnut Creek service.
And welcome to our home. My name's Brenly Rada.
So, of course, as always, we're really glad that you tuned in. Today we are continuing in our series, which is called Transforming 7 Vices into Virtues. And actually, our topic shifted into a new topic today that's under that series umbrella, and it's transforming prejudice to freedom. And you might guess that the reason why we shifted it is because of the heartbreaking news this week of George Floyd's murder and the ensuing unrest in our country.
Yeah, it's a very difficult time. We have a fabulous New Thought artist today to help to soothe our souls, singer-songwriter Daniel Nemad. Wherever Daniel performs, his message of peace, love, compassion has found overwhelming acceptance. Across all nations, cultures, and faiths, we are pleased to welcome Daniel Nemad with Sacred Love.
Good morning, Unity of Walnut Creek. This is Daniel Nemad. I'm here in my studio in Orange County, a few hundred miles south of you all. I am so glad to be with you this morning to sing some songs with you and for you. Let's start with a song that hopefully we can sing together from long distance. The song's called Sacred Love.
You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God. Sacred love is all that you are. Sing, you are blessed peace. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, God. Blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are deepest joy. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy, God. Deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way. Show the way, God. Show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. Once more, you are sacred love. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God. Sacred love is all that you are.
Thank you, Daniel, for sharing your music with us today. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living, and our vision for the world is we envision a spiritually awakened world where all life thrives in conscious oneness. Our mission is who we've come here to be. Let's say this together. We are a loving, inclusive community, expanding and living our divinity in sacred service for all. Our core values are love, connection, service, and wisdom. If you're with us for the first time today, welcome. You're invited to fill out a connection card. Connection cards are available to everyone on the Watch Live page. You may submit a prayer request and our prayer team will pray with you throughout the week. You may also share feedback or request information.
All of our classes and events are online or can be accessed by phone, so we have a few to highlight this week. We're making steady progress on building the labyrinth, which is very exciting. And you can check out our Facebook page and see some videos of the progress that's going on. This week also promises to be cool weather-wise, and so our project manager, Nancy Logicano, invites you to join her and help build. What we're doing right now is laying the bricks, all the outline, and then filling the pathways with decomposed granite. So they laid all the blessed bricks we have to date so far yesterday, and there's room for more. So we want to invite you into that. You can see, by the way, Nancy's email on the slide if you want to contact her to help volunteer. And in terms of buying and blessing bricks, that fundraiser ends today. So you can buy a brick online through PayPal or the Give app, or you can come by the office and put a check in the mail slot in the downstairs office. And also in terms of writing the blessing on your bricks, if you don't want to come by in person, just email us the blessing at office@unityofwalnutcreek.org, or come by to the self-serve station on the patio and write the blessing there yourself. And literally, the labyrinth is built up from our blessings. So those bricks, those blessings are going to be face down on the earth, and our labyrinth will be built up from there. So thank you again for all the generosity of service and of this fundraiser, which has been very, very successful. So thanks to all of you for being a part of this important project.
Mm-hmm. Our virtual patio conversation and 6 other events have new Zoom meeting numbers and passwords starting today. Please visit Unity's website and click on the link for more information on the online classes and events. You'll find a list of events with new IDs and passwords. Our monthly healing circle meets on Zoom this Wednesday, June 3rd at 7. This is an ongoing group and it meets the first Wednesdays. Whether you come for a specific healing request or to learn about the practice of various healing approaches, the evening promises to provide an accepting, empowering environment in which to bless each other and our world with focused healing energy. We need a lot of it. Lessons in Truth with licensed Unity teacher Ron Salazar is relaunching for 5 weeks beginning Monday, June 8th from 7 to 9. Join Ron and friends for a deep dive into the meaningful Unity classic written by Emily Cady. Please join your Board of Trustees for our community gathering on June 11th, it's a Thursday, at 7 p.m. via Zoom. Board officers will update you on financials, facilities, Sunday services. Your board wants to explore what's next with your input and hear what's on your heart. So please come to share your feedback, your ideas, and your questions. And now, we have a special announcement from Lisa and Tyler.
Hi everybody, now we're on the other side of our living room here, and we're saying to you that tonight is the night for our concert with Daniel Namod. You just heard him sing a song. He's going to sing some more songs with us this morning, and then we've got a concert tonight.
It's going to be so great. He's doing this because of Unity of Walnut Creek, even though it's shared with all his fans around the world. So it's very special. It is free for you to watch, but we will ask you, if you can, to make a love offering to support Daniel and our music ministry. And the cool thing is you can join the Zoom meeting and have your little video square on there and see who all the other folks that are on. But if you'd rather not deal with Zoom, we are live streaming the concert at the same moment on our YouTube channel. And all you have to do there is go to YouTube and you can watch it big screen if your computer is set up to do a big screen, or your television, and see Daniel sharing his music. And all the links for both the Zoom or the YouTube version of the concert are on the Unity website. And that's 7 o'clock tonight. We'll see you there.
See you there. Bye.
Well, thank you, Lisa and Tyler, and thank you, Brenley. There's a lot of really exciting things going on in our community, and all online. Who knew? So following the service today, you have yet another opportunity for a virtual connection, and that is our virtual patio conversation. Log on at 12:45 just to say hi, or you can also pray with a prayer chaplain there. And please see our website for a full listing of information and how to log in to all the exciting things we're offering. And if you are not receiving our weekly e-news, you can fill out a connection card on the Watch Live page in order to stay informed.
So now, as we prepare for our time of meditation, let's ground in our statement of faith. Let's take a deep breath together, settling into our hearts. One more deep breath. Please join me. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God.
Rising.
Now, oh, so sorry. I missed my cue. So I want to introduce our time of meditation now. And the flow is that David Peterson, one of our prayer chaplains, is going to read one of his own original poems called Rising. And then from there, we'll go to a song by Daniel, which will take us into some guided meditation and silence. So please prepare yourself now for this time of meditation.
Rising. Welcome home. You really never left. You leave no trace. Divine in your power, being a gift giving in every situation. Frolicking in the transformation of now. The heart is lit, beaming in its presence, expressing your truth freely, easily, cracked wide open. Never alter your apparel, your riches, producing your passions, your flames, your way. Its touch is true. Your love is guided. Welcome home.
Hallelujah, a word of praise, a word of praise. word of thanks, a word of thanks for my God. Let every breath I breathe be sacred. Let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy and only bring me close to you. Let every breath I breathe be sacred. Let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy and only bring me close to you. Hallelujah. A blessed day, a blessed day with my God. Hallelujah. A blessed day, a blessed day with my God.
Hallelujah. Oh, this blessed day. The blessed day when we feel the love of the divine. We, as the Sufi poets so beautifully express, see the divine as the beloved. One true force of love that moves through our lives, that underpins all of our relationships. It's this love from which we draw our energy and give back through these simple ways of thanks and praise, acknowledgement, recognition, giving to others as well. Hallelujah. Those moments when we feel love, not only personal love, but the underpinning or the undercurrent love that comes with that. The force of divine love that knits together the universe, that glues us together in a kind of unbreakable connection. And so we rise in love, as David shared, and we rest now in love. Resting our hearts, our minds, and our body temples, being steeped completely in the divine love that is always here. We feel it now as we quiet our busy minds. As we allow that one word, hallelujah, to awaken in us at once a sense of praise and thanksgiving, a sense of recognition. I am loved beyond measure. We know that for sure. And I love to the best of my ability. And so in that rhythm of being loved and loving, perhaps with every breath in and every breath out, we can know that truth. I am loved, and I love to the best of my ability. And so let us now drink in that love. Breathe in that rhythm of loving and being loved in the silence. Hallelujah. A word of praise, a word of thanks for the divine love that not only is with us always, becomes us and we it. Melded together as true beloveds. We thank you, Spirit, for the love that frees us and that binds us together. We rise up from this place of quiet into our lives and into the world, overflowing with love, sharing it freely in every direction, all around the planet, to all our relations. But there is only this one true knowing. Love is real, and we're rising up in it right now as we emerge from our time of meditation. So thank you, divine love, for all that we are. And so it is.
Let every breath I breathe be sacred. Let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy and only bring me close to you. Let every breath I breathe be sacred. Let every word I speak be true. Let every song I sing be holy and only bring me close to you. Hallelujah. A blessed day, a blessed day with my God. Hallelujah. A blessed day, a blessed day with my God.
All right, well, we give thanks for Daniel and his beautiful music, and I hope you can join us tonight for his concert. This has been a tough week for our country. I know that my heart is hurting, and I know there are lots of hearts out there that are hurting. And, you know, we can use our pain for good. So may that knowing be so for all of us. And, you know, I firmly believe that we can make a huge difference through our spiritual teachings, our spiritual practices, our spiritual knowing. That really, when big things happen in the world where we are jarred awake once again, that it is that spiritual foundation and those spiritual knowings that really are needed in the world. So it's a call for all of us to step up. So in this week 3 of our series, Transforming the 7 Vices into Virtues, I've done a little revisioning, and I've claimed prejudice as one of those vices, and the ensuing virtue as freedom. And that's what happens over time, that as a species we evolve, and some of these guidelines that we create for ourselves evolve as well. And I think we're in sore need of transformation around this particular one. So today we're going to tackle prejudice. Specifically, we're going to focus in on racial prejudice. And then we'll move into that corresponding virtue of freedom. So first, we have to look at, how do we fit into this all? What's my part in it? And I'm drawing today from an old tale. It's often accredited to a Thai folk tale. You may have heard it before. And it goes like this. One day, the king and his chief advisor were having a conversation on the balcony of the palace over rice cakes topped with honey. And the king went to point to something in the distance, right at the edge of the balcony, and as he did so, his rice cake tipped, and a drop of honey fell on the side of the balcony. And the advisor said, "O king, you dropped some honey. Shall we call a servant to clean it up?" And the king said, "Ha! A drop of honey. Pff, not my problem. Don't worry about it." And so they began to continue to talk and to eat their rice cakes with honey and sip their tea and enjoy their afternoon. But the advisor was really keyed in to what was going on, and he noticed that the honey, when it was warmed by the sun, dropped all the way down to the street and was now attracting some flies. And so he said, "Sire, don't you think we should probably call someone to clean the honey up? Now it's attracting flies." And the king said, "Oh, a few flies, please. That is not my problem." And so they continued on in their way of enjoying each other's company and their food. But then the advisor noticed that a little lizard came out of a crack in the wall, and it began to eat up all those flies with its tongue. And it attracted a cat from over in the baker's bakery. And so the cat went and it began to play with the lizard like a toy. And then out of the butcher shop ran the dog, and the dog bit the cat's neck. And so now an animal fight was ensuing. And the advisor pointed out to the king, "O king, a lizard came out and started eating those flies, and then a cat came from the bakery, and now the dog came from the butcher, and there is a big fight going on downstairs right below the balcony." And the king said, "Oh, I don't have time to worry about an animal fight. Not my problem. Surely someone will see it." Well, indeed, the baker did see that her cat's neck was in the mouth of the butcher's dog. And so she ran out with her rolling pin and she began to hit the dog. And the butcher ran out with a broom and he began to hit the baker's cat. And so then people around the town noticed that there was a fight because the two then began hitting one another with the broom and the rolling pin. And others came out and some knew the baker better and some knew the butcher better, and so they began to take sides and everybody began to join in the fight. And then some soldiers came along and some of them knew the butcher and some of them knew the baker, and so that they too began to take sides. And an enormous village war started to take place. Everybody was fighting with each other, yelling at each other, hitting each other. Pretty soon people started throwing rocks through windows. Somebody took one of the torches and lit one of the buildings on fire. And soon the whole village was in flames and it moved toward the palace, and the palace itself caught fire. Before they knew it, the advisor and the king were being escorted down a ladder from the balcony to escape the palace. The whole thing was in ruins. And so the king, then walking along with his advisor, surveying now the ruins of their land, noticed something, a golden puddle of honey. Maybe I should have cleaned that up, the king thought. And that was the last time that the king ever said, "It's not my problem." Maybe the king was also learning a lesson about oneness. Our actions and our inactions affect everyone if we believe that we are one. If we are one, then when one kills, we all kill. When one dies, we all die. When one hurts, we all hurt. And when one heals, we all heal. When one awakens, we all awaken. So let us be the ones who take that step and begin to heal and awaken. And then lo and behold, we all heal, we all awaken. You know, ministry is thought often to exist to comfort the afflicted. And certainly that is a part of what ministry is about. But there's a flip side to that, to afflict the comfortable. And the latter might be where we find ourselves a little bit more today in our message. So, you know, I think one of the questions we can ask ourselves is, do I really, really believe in this spiritual idea of oneness? Do I really believe it as more than just a spiritual platitude? It's easy for us to speak affirmations as sort of platitudes and to sing songs that hold those beliefs, but the rubber hits the road when we start to practice in the real world. And when we start to practice in the real world, can we still hang on and understand the reality of what oneness is? Can we hold that oneness is something that can indeed be felt and experienced by all with whom we say we are one? And do we truly want to embody divine love? Because it's a big charge. To say that we want to embody divine love, to be the very presence of divine love in the world, it's a high calling. And there are probably different stages along the way in which we will evolve, if we continue on the path, to embody more and more of that divine love. But what divine love does, what the essence of God does, is move toward that which needs to be healed. It moves toward the pain, not away. It moves toward that which needs to be restored to wholeness. And so if we truly want to embody divine love, we must look. We must be willing to be witnesses to the pain of the world so that we can then be the presence of love and healing, so that we can be a part of the resolution that needs to happen for all of us. So are you ready? I mean, are you really ready? Are we ready? I'm asking myself too, am I really ready to step up and to step in and to look and to do the tough inner work? Daniel Nahmod has a song to warm us up. Get ready, my soul. Let's watch.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of light. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Right, and so we are ready, or ready as we'll ever be, as we like to say. So while this message is intended to be for the benefit of all of us, when it comes to race, the locus of change really rests with those of us who are white. There, I said it. So let's take a wider view of what society looks like. Marilyn Frye, the scholar, gives us this metaphor of the bird cage. She says, imagine that you're up against a bird cage and you're able to just press your face in such a way that you can see the bird almost unobstructed. And from this view, you would wonder why the bird doesn't just fly away. In fact, even if you turn your head a little bit and you could just examine one of those bars, you would see that there's only one thing that stands in the bird's way, and it would be easy for it to fly around. It's not until that we step all the way back and look, we see all the crisscrossed bars all the way around the cage that encloses the bird, that keeps it from being able to fly. And see, that is very much that pattern, that interlocking pattern taken as a whole is very much what the society has created. A kind of barrier that doesn't, and so many interlocking barriers, institutional barriers, that they all work together to create the one cage, to hold that cage in place. And so one of the ways that we hold the cage in place, that we all are complicit in helping to hold this cage in place, is through our silence. Robin DiAngelo, who's the author of White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Race, shares examples like these. Uncle Joe tells a racially biased story, and nobody wants to say anything. And so we don't say anything because nobody ever interrupts Uncle Joe from telling his big, boisterous stories. And besides, we don't want to ruin the family dinner. Or we go to a neighborhood barbecue and one of our neighbors tells a racial joke. And we don't say anything. In fact, maybe even we nervously laugh. But we don't say anything or we nervously laugh because, well, we don't want to upset the apple cart, right? And we don't want to be told to lighten up or that we're too politically correct. Something's going on in our work that looks like racial bias to us, but we don't want to say anything because, well, we don't want to be seen as not being a team player, or we don't want anything to get in the way of our career advancement. You see how it goes, how we all participate in holding the birdcage together. None of us want to be considered racist, and most of us individually probably aren't. But taken as a whole, the problem as a world is the fear that keeps that in place trumps our spiritual qualities. It trumps our values. And so there is a compression going on of what we have to offer, of what we believe, of who we think we are, of the oneness, of the love, of the peace and the harmony that we want, that we say, that we envision, that we hold. And so sometimes our prayers have to have feet. They have to have action. We have to be the ones who are brave enough to call it out. Otherwise, it just stays just as it is. And we sit around like a king in our palace and say, it's not our problem. So prejudice, there are two truths, really, two basic truths that can help us move along in this way. And the first is to recognize that we all have prejudices. We all have prejudices. Just like last week when we talked about the vice of anger, we all feel anger. It's part of our human makeup. And we're all going to have prejudices. The definition in the dictionary of a prejudice is a preconceived opinion, often about another person's group membership that is not based on fact or actual experience. So we get it from the media, we get it from our families, we get it from, whatever. We form these ideas and we hold these prejudices until we look, until we examine them, until we're willing to question ourselves. Implicit bias is a little bit more helpful because it gets really closer to the spiritual work. Implicit bias refers to attitudes or stereotypes that affect our understanding, our actions, and our decisions in an unconscious manner. So we know from our metaphysical understanding, you might know the three phases of mind: the unconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious. And so when something is in our unconscious, there's this implicit bias in our unconscious. We don't even realize we have it until we look and see that we do. And then it's brought into the conscious light. There's no shame in that. It's just, it's something that we hold until we know. And then when we know, we can do something about it. Then it's now here it is in the conscious light of day. And part of what helps us bring it from unconscious to conscious is the work of the superconscious, whether it's up above or outside or deep within us. It's that divine consciousness. And so we can invoke that, call upon that, pray for that to help us, to guide us, to show us, so that we truly understand, that we truly see whatever it is that we need to see. As I was preparing for this talk, I went for a walk in what has become one of my favorite places to walk. It's also a place where I get challenges, oddly enough. I've been dealing with about 7 weeks of poison oak that I got up in that area. And about 15 months ago, I broke my arm in that area. But these are teachings for me too, as it always is for us, right? So I was just holding this intention, and so I turned my walk into a ceremony, and you can do that really easily by making a threshold and holding an intention. It's very much what we do in our nature immersions. And then crossing that threshold and knowing you're entering into a ceremony now. You've brought in the superconscious mind. You've called forth the divine consciousness to guide you. And so I invoked that, and then I crossed the threshold. And I was getting warm, so I took off my hoodie and was tying it around my waist, and I heard Spirit say, yes, get naked. Well, I wasn't going to get naked. I was in a public place, but I got the message, right? It's about stripping down, letting go, just opening up. And then immediately I was going uphill, and the winds picked up, and so the wind was against me. And I thought about how, that's part of what happens sometimes on the spiritual path. It's not always easy, right, to really walk our talk. It's not always easy, but so there was all this, symbolic stuff happening that was showing me the resistance. And then I got to the path to turn, and of course it was, as it turns out, very narrow, and there were weeds on both sides, and I thought, oh no, I don't want more poison oak. But I really felt guided to keep going, so I did. And about 3/4 of the way down, I felt this, like, just turn your head. And I turned and I looked to the sky. And the sky was really beautiful, and there was openness, and there was blues and clouds, and I got the word freedom. And I realized the virtue that we were talking about is freedom, that prejudice can be transformed into freedom for all of us. So as I was coming down the hill then, I walked actually all the way out the gate and thought that was the threshold and that I was done with my ceremony. But I looked back and I felt called back in. And there that was, the narrow gate open. So I walked through the narrow gate, and I realized I never did sit in that place where I had broken my arm. And so I just sat down, and I was in that space for a little bit. I sat down in the middle of the path, right where I had been with my dog Chaos, who has since made his doggy transition. And as I sat there, I remembered what a friend told me about shamanic ceremony and how bones are broken, like often they're animal bones of animals that have already died, but they will break the bones in the ceremony to release the energy. And I thought about that and how my arm breaking was a release of energy, and it was also a release of ways of shouldering things that obscure my, shouldering too many detailed things and to-dos, and it's obscuring my going deeper within myself. But also, just for us collectively, it felt like that breaking of bones. You know, it's in our bones to know what is right. It's in our bones to want all of us to be free. We know this as human divine beings. We know the truth in our bones. We long for things to be righted, to be harmonious, to be loving. And so that release was just a way of letting go of that old energy that says, I can't or I don't know how, because neither is true. So I went back through that narrow gate, and just as I looked back, I saw up on the hill this beautiful dead tree, or naked tree, maybe it's not dead. But it was so beautiful in that nakedness and in that maybe dying, that idea that it can still hold this beauty. So whatever it is that needs to die away, there's a beauty in the process. There's a beauty in the shedding. There's a beauty in the breaking open and the releasing. I guess what I'm saying is we don't have to be afraid. So that's the first truth, recognizing that we all have prejudices. We all have work to do. And the second truth is to recognize that in our society, if we are white or of European descent, that we have privilege. So what that means is privilege is defined as a societal advantage of being seen as the norm. Think of it this way. You know, the norm, like as a white person, I am a round peg that fits in a round hole. I know the game, I know the rules, I know how it works to fit in that round hole. But imagine if you were a square peg and you were told that you had to fit into the round hole, that culturally you didn't totally fit into that, but these are the rules of the game, and so you try your very best to fit into that round hole. But then you're told, but you look like a square peg, so you can't fit in the round hole. You see the game? The rules aren't fair. You can never win in that game. And we want a game that all of us can win. We want a game of life with a capital L that all of us can win. We claim it, we know it, and now we can really do the inner transformation that can help our brothers and sisters and all people and all life thrive in that understanding of freedom and oneness and capital L life living fully. So we can help the world by taking off our own blinders and looking for the prejudice and acknowledging the privilege that is. And then we can envision together the new world that we want to build and actually take action to do so. And there might be some of us that are afraid of losing privilege, but why would we? We know too that we live in a world that is abundant, that there is no lack or limitation. There is no small amount in the divine for life, for freedom, for good, for privilege, it's available then for all of us. It's no longer privilege, it just is. It just is the gift of life that God wants all of us to have, that we are meant to have, that we are wired to have. And so there's no fear in losing your privilege. It's more like sharing. And you know how great it feels to share, that things exponentially grow, that the goodness keeps on growing, like our principles of abundance. No one has to lose. We all can win in the game of life. We just need to make sure the rules are fair and clear for everyone. We can take our cue from rats. You know, in experiments, and experiment after experiment, not just rats, but several types of rodents, will actually free other rats that are imprisoned, even if there's no reward to do so. And so that divine impulse of compassion, that divine impulse to want everyone to thrive and to be free, it's in the rats, and it's in our DNA too. We are just as worthy as they are of demonstrating that divinity. Some of you know Jabari Anderson. He's a member of our Unity of Walnut Creek community. He sometimes sings for us, really inspired singing. He's an opera singer as well, a trained opera singer. Just a little extra fact. But Jabari, you might know also, is a black man. And I was speaking to him the other day, and he said, "Who is the prisoner and who is the warden?" He said, "I've been called the N-word countless times." And he said that I respond using my spiritual practices. He said, I lean on heart math and I know neuroscience, and I don't want that toxicity of anger in my system. He said, I've seen the water molecules when they're in the presence of anger and how they're grossly, shaped. He said, I don't want that happening inside my body. And so I pause. And I allow myself not to judge. And he said, and I pray for those who persecute me because they're unhappy. And I say to you, Jabari, and to all those people of color who are listening, the practice of Ho'oponopono comes to mind. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. To believe in oneness and freedom for all is a constant inner practice, a living, breathing edict. It's work. It's not just, and there is joy in it, but it's not just all fun. It's not just all joy. It's work that takes us there. And we have to be not afraid of the inner work, or we won't get that far on our spiritual journey. And we won't contribute as much as we could have in our lifetime. This is what Jesus spoke of when he talked about the narrow gate, of entering the narrow gate. He was talking about, I think, about the narrow gate of real spiritual work. And he said, enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road is easy that leads to destruction, and there are many who will take it. For the gate is narrow and the road is hard that leads to life, and there are few who find it. Let us be those who find it. Let us be those who are willing to walk through the narrow gate. And we can do this by seeking to understand, by inquiring within. What are my blinders? What don't I understand yet? And if you are white or of European descent, what does it mean to be white? What does that mean? What does it look like to be white? What does my race mean? What does this identity that I have mean for me and for all of us? And pray, guiding, asking Spirit to guide you through a process. What do I need to see? What needs to be revealed in me? Reveal it, oh God, through me and as me, so that I may see for myself whatever is next for me. And we can learn. You know, we're smart people. We know how to learn about all kinds of things. We know how to get on the internet and Google stuff. Google it. Google white privilege. Google Black Lives Matter. Google Black history. Google implicit bias. Google institutionalized racism. It doesn't really matter where you start. You're going to find a plethora of resources, things to read, films to watch, ways that we can educate ourselves. And then finally we can connect, right? By reaching out into the community, we can get involved in our local interfaith subgroups. We can, join things like Surge, showing up for racial justice. And we can have conversations about race with all kinds of folks of varied racial backgrounds. So we can seek to understand in all of those ways, and we can also break the complicit silence by not just remaining silent when we see racial bias, when we hear jokes, when we hear stories or comments, but call them out with bravery. Let's not be like the kings and the queens in our palace, thinking that our contribution to things doesn't matter, doesn't have an impact. We need to clean up our own mess, our own inner prejudices, our own inner blinders in places in which we don't see. And stop saying, it's not my problem, or acting like it isn't. We are a part of one world. We are one. We are part of one divine presence. As one of us awakens, we are all lifted up. Call upon Spirit to reveal whatever needs to be revealed for you, and it will be revealed. It doesn't have to all happen at once. It can happen at our own pace, in our own way. Sometimes we need to put a face on things to know who it is that we're practicing for. I remember being in a spiritual retreat once, a meditation retreat, and somebody said, sometimes it just helps to know who you're practicing for. And immediately the face of my godson, Seth, came to mind, and it gave me impetus to keep going. Or sometimes it's my goddaughter, Grace. But for you, whatever that face is, maybe of a little one, a neighbor, a friend, a grandchild, that we practice for them so that they may inherit a freer, kinder, a more equitable world. That we can do our best to give over to them the kind of world we want them to have, the kind of life we want them to have. And one of those faces that I can't get out of my mind now, and maybe you won't either, and I don't want to, I hold Kedron Bryant in my heart. I want him to have more than a life of survival. I want him to have a full life and a free life filled with creativity and his gift of song. Kedron's a 12-year-old gospel singer, and the events this week inspired his mother, Janetta, to write this song, and for Kedron to sing it and really owns it as his own. So today we're going to close out with Kedron's song, I Just Want to Live. Let's watch together.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind, every day I'm being hunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
So, deeply moved by it.
It's okay. Take your time. I can't imagine that there's some wet eyes out there along with us.
Whether you have a joy or concern on your heart today,
our prayer chaplains are available to provide prayer support during our virtual patio conversation after the service. You may also contact them by phone or email, and I know a lot of us could use some prayer support right now. So I want to also invite you to fill out a prayer request, to call upon us, our staff, our prayer chaplains, myself. We're here to support you. So please complete a connection card on the Watch Live page or click on Prayer Request at the bottom of the home page. Our prayer team will be praying with you throughout the week. Now let's open our hearts to the practice of giving. Our spiritual home thrives with your continued generosity. I invite you to prepare your gifts as we align with the universal law of circulation. As we give, so shall we receive. In truth, there is no lack or limitation. Nothing can be taken away from us when we do our inner work, because it is all based in this abundance. Abundance is our true nature. In addition to sending checks through regular mail or direct deposit through your bank, there are 2 ways to give online. You may click the donate button on the Watch Live page or download the Give app. Give is spelled G-Y-V-E. Want to continue?
I invite you to repeat our prosperity affirmation with me together. Divine love, one with me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am joy-filled and grateful.
If you are particularly observant, you might notice that I'm wearing a different shirt for this next song, and that's because I'm recording this next song on a different day. Events have transpired that have changed the direction of the Sunday service a bit, and this song occurred to me as maybe being particularly appropriate, unfortunately maybe, for this Sunday. So I thought I'd share it with you now. It's a song called God's Name.
When I watch the news, it makes me cry for all of the anger I see. So many souls believing the lie that hatred is all they can be. So I take the chance to offer my prayer, to whisper the truth. And I believe today is the day that my message gets through. That we are all children of the God of love. We are all there is only one, 'cause everyone is born with God's name. So the question becomes, where do we start? How do we heal so much pain? The answer is clear. We open our hearts and let love wash away every stain. 'Cause peace in our time begins with a smile, with one open hand. And when we teach by example, the world is sure to understand that we are all children of the God of love. We are all meant to be instruments of peace. There's no us or them, foe or friend. We are all the same. There is only one, 'cause everyone is born with God's name. But sometimes it seems so useless to try, so futile to dream. But remember, the power of creation lies in what we believe. 'Cause we are all children of the God of love. We are all meant to be instruments of peace. There's no us or them, foe or friend. We are all the same. There is only one, 'cause everyone is born with God's name. There is only one, 'cause everyone is born with God's name. With God's name.
Wow, well, big thanks to Daniel. Just love his music and his emotion. So thank you, Daniel, for being a part of this important message with us today. And I also want to acknowledge Peter Weiler, who does the sound balancing for our services, one of those behind the scenes folks who has done a whole lot more work than he normally would do on a Sunday service in the sanctuary. So big thanks to you, Peter, for all that you do. And now as we bless our offerings, we bless all of us, the givers and the gifts, that they may go forth and continue to multiply and increase the good in our lives and the lives of those we touch through our teachings, through our principles, and through working our teachings and our principles. Together, let's know that this blessing travels far beyond ourselves and our own community and out into the world as we bless our gifts. We give thanks for the ever-increasing, constant flow of absolute good in our lives now. And so it is.
And let's bless our frontline workers. Frontline workers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you.
And our children meet every Sunday via Zoom at 10 a.m. Today we have a very special song from Destiny and Kriya. Well, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, Destiny and Kriya Urkis, for sharing that We Are Blessed song with us and bringing us into their home. Let's bless all of our children and teachers and parents together. Children and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine light within you. Please join me in saying our prayer of protection, and let's know that protection is there for all of us. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine.
Stick around until the end of the service. We have community members' selfies you won't want to miss. And we want to see you. So please send in your silent waving videos to office@unityofwalnutcreek.org.
You got it.
And now our peace song.
All right, well, welcome back. I want to just acknowledge the man behind the curtain who has been making it all happen for the 7 or 8 or 9 weeks. I don't know how long, I've lost track. There's John Nichols. He is our sound guy, our video guy, our switch. He makes it all happen on Sundays right here from our home, and he has been giving of himself a lot, many, many Sundays and many, many weekends. So John, we are so grateful for all that you have done for us to make these services happen and to be so professional. God, it's just a teary day. Just got to surrender to it, surrender to the tears, huh? We really love you, John, and so appreciate you. Whew. So next week, you're going to see us in the sanctuary. So it's the last Sunday in our home, and we give thanks to have had the intimacy, really, of having you be with us in our home with our little loved ones here. So we'll close out with our usual benediction. You are the love and the light and the peace on earth right now.
So let your light shine.
Have fun and spread
joy.
joy.
Can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. I can't help it, God makes me wanna sing. Make me feel so good, I can do most anything. I am loving everything.